this. I want somebody with a little more experience coaching in this country, or if it's somebody from overseas, maybe Sweden, who's actually coached some of the guys that are on the Red Wings.
How much do you trust Steve Yzerman?
A lot.
Okay. And I find it interesting that Vegas, because we know, like, Vegas knows. Like, how do they know? We don't have any idea, but they do get information. They do get things that point them in that direction. And I think Steve Yzerman has run as tight of a coaching search as you're ever going to see.
Yes.
Because you don't hear anything leaking out about it. Now you hear this. And if this were to come to fruition, don't you think that going through the process that Steve Yzerman is going to make the best decision available for the Red Wings now and in the near future?
Yes, but I don't have to agree with it. I would.
Okay, I'm not saying you do. I'm just asking some questions.
Yeah, I know.
And the concern that I have, and there are some people that, you talk about Sergei Fedorov and his time here, his history here. Obviously, a Hall of Famer, an unbelievable career, but also, turned down a contract. His number is not retired. There are some people that hold grudges. Yeah. And so, but for those that don't, just look at the good times, as I do, as a guy that was amazing at what he did, providing some amazing moments for us as hockey fans. The concern I have is if that legend comes back and it doesn't work out, now all of a sudden you've got to find a way to fire a local legend. And the guy that's going to be firing him will be a local legend as well, and it's obviously not working out.
Well, yeah.
And to that, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I don't know. It's 3 years, 4 years.
If Alan Trammell can get fired, anyone can get fired in this country.
I agree.
Okay?
I'm just saying that's a concern. And I do have that concern. When Spielman came back to the Lions, and I know that he's not the GM. I know that he's a special consultant to a lot of different levels, and he's learning the business on that side. But if things didn't go well, I would hate for any of his persona, image, the way that we think about him to be tarnished.
I get that, but first of all, could they really hire him as their head coach when they refuse to retire his jersey?
Sure. I mean, maybe this is the first step of mending the fences to, hey, if we comes back, maybe on the first home game, also in the rafters goes number 91.
That would be nice, but I don't think the two should have anything to do with each other.
I don't either, but it's about a relationship.
I know.
And there would be a cloud with some people, I think.
I think there'd be a cloud with a lot of people, yeah.
With the jersey not being retired. It seems like something that's been left unsettled that, I don't know, this seems crazy to me.
That makes no sense to me.
And I think almost Yzerman would be inviting an increased pressure by doing it.
I don't think there's any way it's going to happen. I think it has to be who I think he's going to hire as the coach. I think it's going to be the guy who coaches the Tampa minor league team, Benoit Grouille, whatever. Grouille, I don't know how to pronounce it. Grouix. I know it's not Drew, I don't think. Because Drew is G-I-O.
Right.
But that would be my guess. By the way, I love who's last on this list, on the odds. Patrick Waugh. Plus 3,300.
Please.
Here are the odds, okay? Sergei the favorite, plus 350. Then we'll go down. I'm not going to give you the numbers for each one. Pete DeBoer, Bruce Cassidy, Barry Trotz, Rikard Gronberg, obviously he's Swedish, Rick Tocchet, Travis Green, who was in Vancouver one time, the aforementioned Benoit Grouille, Mike Vellucci, who spent some time in this area, Paul Maurice as well, the former head coach of the Winnipeg Jets and the Carolina Hurricanes back in the day, Derek Lalonde, who I believe is an assistant coach with, I believe, Tampa Bay, that I'm not 100% sure. Another Swede, Roger Ronberg, and then Patrick Waugh. That would be the most unbelievable thing of all time. First of all, he wasn't that much. He didn't have great success being the Colorado head coach. All right. Our telephone number is 248-539-9797. All right, we have some ticket texts. If Chris Ilitch holds a grudge anything like his father did, there's no way Sergei Fedorov gets hired by the Red Wings, Bob, and Redford.
Yeah, how's that meeting go? Stevie Y goes up there and says, hey, I got my coach.
John Cooper's coming here. It's a done deal. He's from Michigan. They can't disclose it because they're still in the playoffs. The silence is because he's already identified his guy, similar to why Michigan had to wait until the 49ers season then when hiring Harbaugh. What else could the delay be? Joe and Troy.
But there's no silence on that one.
Well, first of all, I believe, and somebody can look it up, that John Cooper signed an extension within the last year or two. Now, obviously, contracts are made to be broken. I get that. I would be ecstatic, but I would be stunned.
He signed through 24-25.
Yeah.
You'd have to give up compensation.
There's a price for
I
everything.
ain't giving up. I'm as good a coach as he is. I ain't giving up a number one.
Really?
Yeah, for him, no. Sorry, I don't think they have enough talent. He took over a team that had great talent and won with them. No, I'm not giving up. Especially since the Wings are probably going to have a top 10 pick. They have one this year. No, I'm not. What did DeBoer do before Vegas? I asked because he walked into a great expansion team. It was Gallant actually was the team who coached them before. DeBoer also coached San Jose and New Jersey. He coached the Plymouth Whalers at one point. So he has experience. He's considered a good coach. Our telephone number is 248-539-9797.
Every year, students die from sudden cardiac arrest due to abnormal heart structure or abnormal rhythms. 97.1 The Ticket Student Heart Check helps detect young people who are at risk. Sign up your kids at beaumont.org/SHC. Sponsored by Priority Health. WXYT FM and WXYT HD1 Detroit. An Odyssey station. Sports headlines. All day, every day. From the Sold by Mike Z Sports Desk. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
Brought to you by Michigan Hair Restoration. Sometimes the apple actually does fall far from the tree. Five-star quarterback recruit C.J. Carr from Saline High School committing to Notre Dame, snubbing the University of Michigan, where his grandfather Lloyd Carr led the Wolverines to a national title in 1997. PGA Tour is suspending all 17 tour members who are playing in this week's Saudi Bank Live Tour event in London, England. That would include Bryson DeChambeau. Rocket Mortgage terminating its sponsorship with DeChambeau because he is competing on that tour. The Detroit Lions wrapping up minicamp yesterday, announcing that first-round pick Jameson Williams will not be ready for the beginning of training camp as he continues his recovery from ACL surgery. Lions also hire USC football chief of staff Brandon Sasa to the front office. And the Detroit Tigers open a 3-game set against the Blue Jays tonight, 7-10 right here on 97.1 The Ticket. Stanley Cup playoffs, Lightning beat the Rangers in New York, 3-1. They take a 3-2 lead. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Jeff Lesson for more 97.1 The Ticket or Odyssey.com.
Live from the Jamie Samuelson Studio, Stoney and Jansen on 97.1 The Ticket.
Congratulations! We've made it to Friday. John Jansen is not here.
He didn't make it to Friday.
He did not make it to Friday.
Suspended for not waking up on time.
Thoughts and prayers. Greg Hargrave is here wearing a Tulane Green Wave t-shirt. I actually like that.
Thank you. Blue.
I like that t-shirt.
Home field advantage. Could get restocked pretty soon.
That's right. The Gov is here. We have Heather Park in the news studio, parts unknown, and Jim Costa in for John Jansen. What's up, Jimmy?
How's it going, Stoney?
It's going pretty good. It's Friday.
It's good to have everybody here. The last time you and I were together was a holiday. It's good to have the whole crew in.
That's right. It's great. That's right. We were here on Memorial Day. What's going on, Heather?
Oh, no, I'm ready for the weekend, feeling good.
Any big plans?
Well, I'll be at Comerica tomorrow.
Oh,
So you're going to go to the ballpark. You will?
I'll be there.
Awesome. Well, then I'll see you there.
It's guaranteed win night.
Yes, it
Heather's
is.
What are you, 1-0 or 2-0?
2-0.
She's 2-0 heading in.
Can you find Riley Green and bring him as well? Can Saturday be his debut? Make it 3 for 3.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah. So, Sunday's the Miggy Day, right? The 12th? Yeah. When they're honoring him for the 3,000th bid. 500 home runs. More importantly, driving in some winning runs this season.
Best hitter's 39 years old. It's saying a lot.
That's right. Exactly. What a squad. What a squad. Hey, you know what? It's summer. It's baseball.
10 straight home games coming up.
That's right. So let me ask you this, Jim. 6-4, or they have? Is that your minimum here, or you don't even? Whatever.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I don't know. I mean, I think they knocked a lot of the life out of me and so many different Tigers fans. You look at that opening day crowd, the excitement that I thought was justified before the year, and now you're sitting here going, maybe make a run at 500 if you want me back.
Yeah. I don't know. They go 5-5. That would probably be what would be a reasonable expectation. It probably won't do anything as far as, getting people more into it.
What would a 7-3 do?
7-3 would
Get you to 31-36. You go to Boston, who is probably the team you're allegedly chasing.
Correct. You are exactly right. Wow. And they always do so well in Fenway.
That just the road trip after this homestand has disaster written all over it.
What is it?
3 at Boston, a day off. They go to Arizona for 3, who I know is not good, but still.
Road
and then they
games.
go to the Giants for a couple of games.
Yeah, you're West Coast, and we know, I mean, they don't have a lot of success on the West Coast. Even the homestand, they got to play Toronto.
Chicago. And
Although with La Russa managing Chicago,
Yes.
maybe that's a good thing.
We'll get into that. Maybe he'll intentionally walk you.
If Heather does one of those Chicago games, he'll intentionally walk the winning run home.
That's right. Exactly. Look, I know we kid around a little bit, but the Tigers gained a half game yesterday. They're only 6 out of the wild card.
World Series bound and picking up steam.
So, okay.
Go get them, Tigers.
So they're 7-3. So let's play a little Doves of a Party game here. So let's say they are 7-3. That would make them what, 30-36? Is that correct? Right, 7-3. They're 23-33 now.
Yes.
So that would make them 30-36. All right. So the team that they have to, is Boston. I don't know. Maybe I don't know who the Red
This
Sox.
still goes back to your talk a couple weeks ago. I said whatever. They would have to minimum get to 84 wins.
Yeah, that would be minimum. And I don't think they're going to do that.
No, what they need is to get stupid hot.
Yes.
They need to pull like a 2019 Nationals who went like 10 games above 500 in June.
Right.
To resurrect their season. That's the kind of June they have to have.
They have to turn into the Phillies all of a sudden. Phillies are red hot. It's ridiculous. They fired Joe Girardi and they've won like 7 games in a row.
Did you just advocate to fire A.J. Hinch?
No.
Is that what I just heard?
No. He's too good of an interview. Selfish here. I'm being selfish for the show, right? No. But look, it'll be an interesting homestand. All you're asking for them is to hit the baseball. Hit the ball. Tonight it's Elvin Rodriguez. Hopefully he learned he won't be tipping any pitches tonight against Jose Barrios, because except for that, and I know that's like, besides, did you still enjoy the show, Mrs. Lincoln? He has shown that all of a sudden that this kid that you never even heard of has some skill. I mean, in his first 2 games, he showed something at least.
Well, and what you're talking about, I mean, it was noticeable. The difference when he had runners on and his pitches were being tipped versus when he was pitching out of the windup, he was a much better guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something to at least keep an eye on there.
Yes, absolutely. Last night in the National Hockey League, it wasn't the most exciting Stanley Cup playoff
That
game.
was so dull.
It even the crowd at the Garden, they tried some Let's Go Rangers stuff. Maybe they should have done some things like FU Stamkos or something like that, like they do in Boston. But that said, the Tampa Bay Lightning, they did what they do. They win when they have to. They beat the Rangers 3-1. I think it's the first home loss for the Rangers in the playoffs. They've been really, really
They've won
good.
8 straight at home.
Yeah.
Series effectively over now?
You would think so. If I was betting, yes, I'd bet on Tampa.
Pedigree, they've won 3 straight. Game 6 is in their barn. The Rangers appear to be shell-shocked. I mean,
Right.
this looks like it's over.
And Vasilevsky's great on elimination
Closeout games. I think 10-0 in his last 10 with 6 shutouts. You got to go through him twice to get to the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, Rangers. It's over.
And it was a weird game where the goals were not exactly breathtaking. The first goal by the Rangers, Lindgren just shoot it on the net, and it went in. And then Sergachev and
Punching us in right now.
Goal was it just deflected off of him, and then they get the empty net goal, and the Palat goal. You thought they were going in overtime again, and they didn't, because Tampa, they do what they're so good. And they did it last night without a lot of their skilled players, standing out. I mean, Kucherov didn't play his usual great game. Stamkos, they were fine, but they just didn't, light up the scoreboard.
They still don't have Braden Point. He's out.
Exactly.
Still. No, Stoney, I'm happy to hear you say that because I hope people appreciate what Tampa Bay's doing. They have a chance to three-peat.
You did.
Right? I mean, I don't want to put the cart before the horse.
No.
They still get it through the series and then beat Colorado to pull it off. The last three-peat we had in sports was 20 years ago. The last in hockey was 40 years
Right,
ago.
with the Islanders.
Apparently.
Right. And for them to do this with one season
We
in a
have to
bubble,
get down here quick if we do.
the quick turnaround, that long season where they won it a year ago, to still have the legs, to still have the depth,
Yes.
to still show up and go through these long grind-out series in the NHL, it's remarkable.
It
what
shows you
Tampa's
what a
doing.
great organization. And
Don't you love that?
yeah, and Steve Yzerman.
Yeah, whoever built this hockey team must be just a genius.
Yzerman did a lot of it, but his successor, his assistant, has done a really good job as well as keeping things going. You mentioned that Point. Maybe he'll play tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe there's no need now because you think you can, beat them. But I don't know. The Rangers. I think you're seeing the effects of 2 straight 7-game series. Their legs looked really tired last night. So it looks like it's going to be Tampa against Colorado. Here's the question, though, and we can also talk about this as far as the Golden State Warriors, because a lot of people are happy that they're down 2-1.
Hey, I'm up front.
To the yard.
Yep.
hotel rooms at over 20 MGM Resorts properties located on the Las Vegas Strip and nationwide. BetMGM Rewards is sports betting's premier loyalty program, featuring exclusive offers, incredible experiences, and valuable perks when you wager on the BetMGM app. Sign up with BetMGM or log on today to get an even bigger piece of the action with BetMGM Rewards. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years of age or older to wager. Michigan only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help. Excludes Michigan disassociated persons.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJ AM 950 Traffic Center, this report brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer. Roads are clear this morning. No accidents or slowdowns right now. Now, we do have a weekend construction project coming up. All lanes closing on the Southfield Freeway southbound between 8 Mile and Michigan Avenue. That would begin about 10 o'clock tonight through Monday morning. In the meantime, you can detour using Telegraph. You've heard the latest news, traffic, and weather, but there's something else you should hear. Consider getting a COVID-19 booster as recommended by the CDC. Brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer. I'm Michelle Penny with traffic.
Coming in at 5'3", it's number one mom. She switched to Xfinity and got the all-new 3-for-1 bundle. Unlimited internet, streaming, and Xfinity Mobile. All for what you can pay wireless companies for just one 5G unlimited line. Boom! Shakalaka! That's why they call her the Master of Moolah, the Sultan of Savings, the Queen of Cash. And now, also with Xfinity Internet, you can get unlimited data, Wi-Fi equipment, and a free Flex 4K streaming box included with a 2-year rate guarantee and no term contract. All for just $30 per month. When you add an Xfinity mobile plan at regular rates, go to Xfinity.com/3-for-1, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit an Xfinity store today. Limited time offer, restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay. New fast internet, 300 megabits per second, customers only. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity Internet. After 24 months, regular rates apply to all services and devices.
Hi, I'm David Hall. Homeowners call Hall First to unlock the equity in their home with a cash-out refinance. Our speed and service is the very best, and our ability to close your loan in as little as 8 business days is unmatched. Let Michigan's most trusted mortgage company work for you. Call Hall First at 866-CALL-HALL, or you can chat with us online right now at callhallfirst.com.
Hall Financial, equal housing lender. NMLS number 1467435.
Spoiled bad with the Father's Day at Lowe's, where you'll save big on the sweetest assortment of his favorite treats. Like a Craftsman 20-volt drill kit, once $79, now $69. Or gifts that sizzle, like a special buy Blackstone 28-inch griddle starter kit, now $278, valued at $329. There's nothing sweeter than Father's Day at Lowe's. Home to any budget, home to any possibility. While supplies last, about 6/9 through 6/15.
In the wee hours of the night, when everyone else is fast asleep, you're the one on third shift, burning the midnight oil. When a part fails and everything comes to a grinding halt, regardless of what the clock on the wall says, you leap into action. Grainger is with you, and all the ones who get it done. With 24/7 customer support by phone or click to chat. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to Allstate, where saving on your auto insurance is kind of like a joyride. You, your car, and an open road. Maybe your best friend too. The music is chill, and so is the traffic. You and your friend both look over at each other, and then he puts his head back out the window. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today. Allstate and affiliates offer products and services subject to availability, terms, and conditions.
Smokers back at Church's. Our $6 Smokehouse Chicken Meal is a juicy half chicken served with mashed potatoes and a honey butter biscuit. All that for just $6, but not for long. Church's, welcome to the great state of flavor. Offer valid at participating locations.
Let your voice be heard. Call the D Las Vegas 97.1 The Ticket Studio line at 248-539-9797. The D Las Vegas, the home for Detroit sports in Vegas. 97.1 The Ticket would like to remind you that when you text the ticket, standard text messaging rates apply. Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio, here's Tony and Jansen.
Jim Costa in for John Jansen. follow what State does too, and they're really kicking ass. I tell you, if you believe how good some of these guys are, just sign a defensive back. Texas, they've been doing a really good job. Mel Tucker, he's kicking it there. Yesterday, the big news was that Saline High School quarterback C.J. Carr, who is going into his junior year, and he is the grandson of Lloyd Carr, the son of Jason Carr, who back in Michigan, he chose Notre Dame. Now,
say it ain't so.
It was no surprise if you've been following this for a little bit, but for some who haven't, it might be, and people might, oh my God. And I for one, not yesterday, but 6 months ago, you thought, he's going to Michigan. But he did. But he chose Notre Dame. And just social media, there's some Michigan fans who are very upset at C.J. Carr. There are some Michigan fans very upset with Michigan, Jim Harbaugh. You couldn't even get the kid to buy. He's Lloyd's grandson. You couldn't even recruit him. And I understand that reaction at first. But when you hear and read about what CJ said, and granted, I'm not a Notre Dame guy, as you know, but he just said for the longest time he always wanted to go play somewhere else. He wanted to leave the state to play football. And for someone who could have different level, no athletic ability, but for someone who decided I didn't want to go to Penn State or schools in my home state, I wanted to get out. I completely understand that, especially if you want to live under the umbrella of Lloyd's Grant, the whole deal. I have no problem with him or Michigan.
I mean,
you?
No, I don't. And I don't want to steal Greg's thunder, but Greg, you made such a great point a second ago. Just because his last name is Carr, he's not obligated to go anywhere. And I thought it was such a good point because he doesn't have to do what his dad did
right.
or what his grandfather would prefer.
Right.
He gets to make his own choice.
Yes.
Now, I do think it's one of those deals where Michigan fans are like, hey, is there bad blood still between Lloyd and the school? Did he not steer him? First of all, you can't steer. He's an adult when he makes this decision ultimately. He's making his decision for his future. And Stoney, the quote, you're right, he said, I've never wanted to go to college near my hometown. I wanted to travel a little farther. Notre Dame was the perfect spot for me.
Yeah, so it's still close enough.
Midwest,
yeah.
but not in the backyard.
Right, and it's not Ohio State, and it's not Michigan State. So to me, you're going to a school that has, whether you want to believe it or not, similar educational, morals and things like that. Standards is probably the better word to use than morals. Especially when I was in Michigan with Dr. Anderson. So I'll say educational standards. So I get that. And the fact is, they don't play each other till 2033. We check that.
We were looking at this in Michigan, and this stuff changes, but Michigan's non-con schedule is locked through 2025.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, unless someone bows out or they buy out a game and add someone last second. The only chance that he would have to play Michigan would be if they added a game in 2026 and he was a fifth year, well, I guess he's a junior, so he'd be just a fourth year senior.
Right.
Or if Notre Dame's in the Big Ten by then.
Yeah. Which is where they should be. But
They absolutely should be.
Chicken. I have no problem with it. And look, this has happened before. Now, I don't know if Michigan was as interested in the person I'm going to make the comparison to as they were in because they were interested in
CJ Carr.
Yeah. Okay. But Freddie Jackson's son, Josh Jackson, also I believe from Saline, went to Virginia Tech and then transferred to Maryland. He was considered a really, really good high school player. And I don't know if he was a 5-star.
He was a 4.
Yeah, like CJ also. By the way, CJ just the off season became a 5-star. I don't know how all that stars and stuff works anyway. Just play football. There's precedent there. Some people don't want the pressure. They, like he said, he wanted to get out, which is fine. I have no problem with it. The other thing here is I don't believe that he wanted to go. He wanted it because I couldn't figure out why he was doing it now before his junior year. Well, there's another quarterback locally from King High School, Dante Moore, that I thought Notre Dame had locked up pretty much. Well, CJ Carr is not going to Notre Dame if they're signing Dante Moore, who's a year older than CJ Carr. He's in 2023.
And more is in the mix for Michigan.
Exactly.
That's the other thing. This is a whole like matchmaking thing. Like you're only going to go where you're going to have a chance to play, and if you don't, you're going to transfer in a year or two anyway.
Exactly.
So it's hard to get caught up in all
Right.
this stuff with recruiting now.
Yes.
I feel like as dialed in as maybe I used to be. I just kind of feel like the guy's there maybe a year or two. If he's great, 3 and he's out. But there's just so much turnover in college football. It's hard to get all bent out of shape about a recruit. I don't think this is an indictment on Harbaugh. I don't think this is like a black mark on CJ Carr for not choosing Michigan. I think this is just what college football is.
I think I think Michigan should get revenge on Notre Dame by recruiting like Lou Holtz's great grandson or something like that.
Get on that.
Well, maybe the reason, and Gov would relate to this because he remembers it. Maybe, CJ Carr wanted a guarantee from Harbaugh that he wouldn't recruit any other quarterbacks, like CJ's grandfather did with Drew Henson. You know how that turned out. All right. Our telephone number is 248-539-9797. Here it is. What's up?
Well, you guys, we know the results. The Grand Rapids police officer who fatally shot Patrick Loyola during a traffic stop has been charged with second-degree murder. Kent County prosecutor Chris Becker announced his decision Thursday after spending 6 weeks reviewing everything from forensic and toxicology reports as well as the results of the full official investigation by Michigan State Police. Now, Becker said that charges have already been filed against Officer Christopher Schur. The officer has turned himself in. He will be arraigned today, and he faces up to life in prison.
Yeah, I mean, accountability is a big deal. I mean, it's just because, you and I have to be accountable when someone's life is lost. That's something that we have to take seriously, even with police officers.
Right. And look, just because he's charged doesn't mean he's going to be found guilty. Don't forget. And I was curious if, because you did a lot of work in Grand Rapids, how that city would have reacted if it was the other way around.
What do you mean?
If they would have not pressed charges.
Well, I was there in the summer where protests and riots were breaking out. I can't predict that would happen again, but I know there would have been a lot of people disappointed.
Now, one of the leading Republican candidates for Michigan governor was arrested by the FBI and charged for his role in the Capitol riot. Ryan Kelly was arrested Thursday morning at his Allendale home on charges of entering or remaining in a restricted building or grounds without lawful authority, disorderly and disruptive content, knowingly engaging in an act of physical violence against a person or property, and willfully injuring property. Now, all of those are misdemeanors. They carry penalties of up to 1 year in prison and fines of $100,000 each. And his next court appearance will be on June 16th.
I don't know. I watched a lot of that, the hearing yesterday, and it's just incredible. It was some of the stuff in there was unbelievable. And Liz Cheney, who just proves that you can be a rock star with having different points of views, because I don't agree with a lot of the things that she talks about, in her politics, but she is not afraid of Donald Trump. I think that's pretty cool. Leave it at that.
On another note, yesterday was a very, very big day for Britney Spears. You guys, she got married. She finally got married to her longtime boyfriend, Sam Asghari, in this very beautiful, intimate ceremony. There was only supposed to be about 60 people there, but there were some really big names there. Madonna was there, Paris Hilton, Selena Gomez, Kate Hudson, Gwyneth Paltrow.
We didn't get an invitation. What was the deal?
I know, Stoney couldn't make it. Only. Her brother, Brian, was supposed to be there. Apparently the only one in her family she still communicates with, because obviously not her dad, not her mom, or her sister were invited. Her sons were not there either, but I think they're still in good terms. Wish her the best. But the wedding did have a crasher. Her ex-husband, Jason Alexander, showed up, and
he's not the Jason Alexander who played George Costanza in Seinfeld. I just want to
imagine that.
Yeah, that would be an odd couple.
Oh my gosh. No, not that Jason Alexander. They got married back in 2014, but then their marriage was annulled 55 hours later, so they weren't married very long. And he showed up, though, and he was live streaming everything on Instagram. He was able to actually get to the tent of the wedding. He was arrested. He was taken down by security. So, at least he didn't really crash the wedding. But I don't think they were very pleased with that, for sure.
Who crashes an ex's wedding, by the way? I mean, come on.
Who wants to go to the... I don't get it. Maybe maybe one of your exes, Stoney, he had his ex in his wedding, so...
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, Stoney would be the...
I invited her. She walked down the aisle, but she didn't crash.
It's so weird. This is pretty cool if you're looking for something fun to do this weekend. The world's largest bounce house is here in Metro Detroit. It's going to be here this weekend and next weekend. And it sounds like there's so much to do, and there's events for toddlers, adults, kids, so the whole family can be involved. Obviously, there's this huge bounce house. It's more than 13,000 square feet. It's 32 feet tall. There's basketball hoops, climbing towers, ball pits, all sorts of things. And then they also have some other things going on. There's like a massive, giant obstacle course you can go through. There's something called Sport Slam, which is like just a huge sports arena with nets, hoops, goals, balls, all sorts of things, battle zone. And then there's also something called Airspace. It's a space-themed bounce house with aliens, spaceships, moon craters, and so much more. So, pretty cool.
Yeah.
It looks fun. It looks like it could be a little... I look at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just picture like people slamming their heads into each other. Like, it looks a little dangerous.
How many more years do you take Emily?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'd like her to be able to walk. So,
She's got to balance, that's it.
Yeah, balance.
Yeah, yes. Let's get her on her feet first, and then I'll take her.
All right, thank you very much, Heather. Coming up next, our buddy Wojo with some interesting questions about a particular football team. 97 The Ticket. 97.1 The Ticket.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Bet River Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by Bet River Sportsbook, Detroit's hometown sportsbook. Tonight in the pro basketball playoffs, the finals. Boston holding a 2-1 series lead on Golden State, and Boston a 4-point favorite in game number 4 at home. Total sitting at 214 and a half. And if you think Boston is very likely to win the series, you'd have to lay a pretty price on Boston, minus 235 to win the series. An alternative way to play that, if you like Boston, would be to take their star forward, who's the favorite to be Finals MVP. He's at plus 105. I think there are some cases to be made for other players on Boston, but if any of those other players are the best players on the team, Boston ain't winning the championship. So that's a way that I would look to play Boston if you don't want to lay the big number. Their star forward to be Finals MVP. That's it for this Bet River Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by Bet River Sportsbook, Detroit's hometown sportsbook. Check out the latest lines today at BetRivers.com. I'm Nick Costos. Keep it locked here for more throughout the day. Must be 21, playable in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-270-7117.
Northville Lumber is Michigan's largest Trex decking dealer. Builders, remodelers, and homeowners love to buy more Trex decking and railing from Northville Lumber than anywhere else. Northville Lumber has the best products, the best selection, and the best price. Northville Lumber is the place to buy Trex decking and railing, as low as $1.59 per foot. No one can beat that price. Professional builders and remodelers, no need for special orders. Northville Lumber always keeps it in stock. Call Northville Lumber now at 248-349-0220 or visit northvillelumber.com.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different how? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee, structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
Was your home listed on the market with a realtor who just couldn't get it sold? Don't give up. Call me, Mark Z. Get your home sold.
I've had
business organic honey. Business may be sweet, but they need an e-commerce queen bee to lead the hive.
Okay, these jars are going to Jakarta. Oh, wait a minute. Does that say Jackson?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by interviewing on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
At Boost Mobile, you get the power of the iPhone SE when you switch, which means the power to stream your favorite shows, download all the music, the power to FaceTime your ex.
It's over. Stop calling me.
On second thought, don't call your ex. Get an iPhone SE for just $19.99 when you switch, all on one of America's largest 5G networks. More power to save. Boost Mobile. All offer limited to new customers and number line additional restrictions apply. 5G not available everywhere. See boostmobile.com for details. And stop calling your ex. She doesn't want to hear from you anymore.
This hour of instant feedback brought to you by Michael Pearl, National Benefit Plans. Call 877-734-2200.
The Detroit Tigers host the Toronto Blue Jays. Pre-game tonight at 6:50 on 97.1. The Ticket. Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio. Here's Stoney and Jansen.
Our telephone number 248-539-9797. Last night, in case you missed it, the Tampa Bay Lightning defeated the New York Rangers 3-1. Palan getting his second goal of the game. Actually, no, it's his first goal of the game. It was a deflection. It went off his knee with about a minute 50 left. You might remember from game number 4, he scored the goal under a minute left of the game-winning goal. And I don't know if he stuck around, but at the end of the game, you know how playoff teams end the game skirmishes, there was a fight. It wasn't bad either. Two surprising combatants, Steven Stamkos and Alexis Lafreniere. It was the only time, it was only the third time in either postseason or regular season that a fight took place between two overall number 1 picks. The last one was Eric Lindros fought Joe Thornton in January of 2004.
Nearly 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's incredible. And it was also the first time that two number 1 overall picks got fighting majors in the same game, even though they didn't fight each other. The previous one didn't fight each other. One, of course, one of Cubs' favorites, Rob Ramage fought Steve Thomas, and Wendell Clark fought the great Lee Norwood. That was probably a Red Wing Leaf game, actually.
Rob Ramage.
He was a good player.
Stoney, I remember the name. Was he a Sabre?
He was maybe one of his boy. St. Louis Blue. I believe he was a Buffalo. That's right, Buffalo Sabre. I believe he was the Colorado Rockies before they moved to New Jersey to become the Jets. Like, I believe. Yes.
Did you know that, Jim? That the Rockies became the New Jersey Devils?
I'll be honest, I didn't.
Yeah.
I learned something new today in the first hour.
Well, here's another one. You know what the Colorado Rockies were before they were the Colorado Rockies?
Yeah, the Seals?
No. The Kansas City Scouts.
I've never heard of it.
The Kansas City Scouts and the Washington Capitals came into the league in the same year. And then the Scouts came to Colorado. And the Colorado Rockies were coached at one time by Don Cherry. There you go.
Do you know where the Calgary Flames came from?
Yes.
You love this story. Tell us. What's the
Atlanta Flames.
Wow.
It's hockey was a trip, man.
I was going to say, because I know enough about hockey. Like, I don't want to seem oblivious. I knew the Nordiques became the Avalanche.
Correct.
I knew the Thrashers disappeared and then came back as the Jets.
Right, but the Jets, Bobby, by the way, moved to Phoenix when they left.
Yes, to become the Coyotes, and they're barely a hockey.
And the Carolina Hurricanes were before.
Yes. The Oilers. I think that's one you need to know.
Yes.
Like, I wouldn't hold you accountable for Rockies Devils. There's too much of the whale stuff still out there.
I know. I was like, I think it's the Whalers. I want to be wrong. Yes, the Whalers.
And then there was at one point where the North Stars moved to Dallas. Dallas.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
And then the San Jose Sharks and there was the Cleveland Barons. There was a whole deal with that. The California Golden Seals, which played in Oakland, moved to Cleveland, and Let's go.
The free Gretzky hockey, man. It was something.
It was so much easier. There was only 12 teams. I don't even go get there. There's only 6.
You brought up Wojo a moment ago. Wojo has an article in the Detroit News. The Endless Lions Riddle. What's real and what's not for this football team. And I thought it was interesting. I looked at it this morning. I read through it this morning. And I know Gov was taking notes through it as well. Tony, when we look at what's real and what's not real about this football team, there's a lot of excitement post-draft. There's always a lot of excitement post-draft. There's a lot of people who refuse to participate in that excitement because the Fords still own the team and SOL and yada, yada, yada. So Wojo's article is all about cutting through what's real and what's not for this football team. What do you say going into the season? What is real about this football team? What's not real?
What's real about the football team is they have a damn freaking good offensive line. That is real. What's not real is, and I didn't, the last OTAs, hearing Glenn talk about how much competition and how good the linebackers are. That ain't real. I'm sorry. With all due respect, Alex Anzalone and Derek Barnes, I'm just not excited. I've heard great things about Malcolm Rodriguez from people from other teams as well. And so that could be a pleasant surprise. Linebackers, to me, linebacker excitement or the adequate, even to me, that's not real. I think what's real is, we saw it at the end of the season last year, the players love, maybe exaggerated, but the players really like, respect, play hard for these coaches. I think that is real. That's about it. Those are the things that come to my mind right away.
Some of the things Wojo said. And by the way, you can jump in 248-539-9797. Real. Campbell is authentic, enthusiastic, and well-liked by his players, as evidenced by how hard they play. Not real. All the positive qualities don't erase a 3-13-1 football team. Real. Lions offensive line. Pro Bowl center Frank Ragnow comes back on a group that averaged 4.4 yards per carry. I'll add to that. With Decker, second half of the season, 4.7 yards per carry when they had both their tackles. Not real offensive continuity. The potential play caller and Ben Johnson. He says real Jared Goff's pass-catching options appear replenished with the additions of DJ Chark and the draft day trade-up for Jameson Williams. More on Jameson Williams here coming up in just a second, but he goes through not real. Can't guarantee the defense is going to get better. Real. Hutchinson will be a starter and the star very quickly. That one, I think, is a little more bold on this.
Yes.
I don't know about star quickly.
I mean, they're talking about it. I was there yesterday for a little bit. I watched some of it. I was there last week. Yeah, he does look really good, but they're not in pads. And they're playing against, he was going up, at least last week, he was going up against number 2 offensive lineman. No pads. It's very difficult for somebody like me to figure out how to win because of that.
With Hutchinson, the expectation is obviously he's going to start, be disruptive. Take a guy at number 2 overall, you do expect him to be a star someday. First year for these pass rushers, typically not getting the double-digit sacks. It's that second year leap with guys like TJ Watt, the Bosa's. I know a lot of people have compared him to, this would be a high praise, Jared Allen.
Yes.
Because he's a taller, shorter-armed, high motor defensive end. Second year is when it clicks for a lot of these high-end pass rushers. He'll be productive in year 1. Yes. No doubt about that. I'm not saying they took a guy into who's going to sit the bench and hit the quarterback twice all season. No, I think he's going to be really productive. What's real about this team and what's not real about this team? 248-539-9797. That's the Wojo article of the day. The headline, though, from Lions camp yesterday was Jameson Williams. And the news from Dan Campbell that they do not expect him to be ready for training camp.
Well, so you just don't take him very high in your fantasy draft. I mean, I got no problem with it. Look, unless you're sitting there one of these Lion fans and man, you got to make the playoffs or the season's a failure. Take your time with this. And by the way, just because he's on the public, which he probably will be when he starts, how much has changed? You're only, it used to be 6 weeks, it's only 4 weeks now. he's on that, that means they might believe that he'll be able to play week 5, which I believe is moving.
You're absolutely right to prepare people for the pup list.
Yes.
Because I don't think this is a surprise for a guy that tore his ACL in January that he's not going to be ready in late July to be full go. And what that's going to do to a young player, rookie, he's not going to be out there building rapport, learning the offense, getting the physical reps. He can get all the mental reps he wants. The physical reps won't be there. And if that drags into August preseason, prepare to miss the first month of the season. Prepare for him to be on the pup. Stoney, I'm of the belief that this isn't pick long term. This isn't a pick for immediate return.
Exactly.
Like everybody was freaking out. Oh, the Lions need to be more aggressive. They're on their own path here. You take Jameson Williams with the torn ACL. You do not rush him. Patience is the right approach.
And it wasn't aggressive. I mean, it's pretty good.
Well, yeah, it's an aggressive move to trade up, but if people who want to see this thing quick fixed on the field, guys, the situation that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes inherited, there's a reason they got 5- and 6-year deals. This upcoming season, you have $31 million to Jared Goff and another 20 to Jamie Collins and Trey Flowers, who are not playing in that money. That's not a go for it year. That's a take your time with Jameson Williams. So if you didn't play all year, I wouldn't be bent out of shit.
Me neither. But it's the the Lions will draft injured players. Other teams.
This isn't the medieval times. They're not going to amputate his leg. He's going to play eventually. It's going to be fine.
Jim, I think you would take exception if it was all year.
But if it was out of an abundance of caution, I would also wish you.
I don't know, by November, Thanksgiving, you would think.
Oh, I'd be excited to watch him play. I'm not immune to that.
But you should recover from this injury by then. And if you don't see him, I know that you could make the argument why play him if they're out of it. There's 5 games left. I understand that.
You want to get him some. Listen, all things considered, you would like to get him game reps so that he can build on that in an off season. But I just mean like this next upcoming season for the Lions. Optimistically, is a 7-win season.
There are teams that have gone from worst to first. No, this ain't happening. Okay, let's cut to the chase here. We want them to improve. I mean, there's some people that they suck against the quarterbacks, and I understand that. But this is about improvement.
And speaking of quarterbacks, maybe around beyond the draft, the Lions to consider these puzzling NFL stories. How it relates to the Lions. We'll be back coming up next.
Starts that time. There's certain survivor chatbots that have just been announced. The survivor chatbots, $6 million. The Circuit Millions contest also $6 million. Both of these have no rates and are guaranteed. In Vegas, but you can play from anywhere. If you're worried for all these contests, go to circusports.com. And you know that I played one of them last year and won a I want to get some damn shoes, so you can do it too. You can sign up for both of these now until September 10th. Yeah, if you want to get away, go sign up. Best place to stay? Yeah, it's the day. The.com. Book your room today. He's got great food like Joe DeCaro's Island Italian Steakhouse. You got American Coney Island right there. You want to play golf in Vegas? They'll hook you up with great golf courses. And the odds are better downtown. Downtown is so much fun. You got a free show in a good way, you know what I mean? So go to the.com. Book your room today. The Las Vegas, your Detroit Sports in Vegas.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJ William McFifty Traffic Center, taking a look at M14 eastbound from Shelby Road to 275. There's a double right lane closure scheduled until Monday. Keep in mind we are seeing some slowdowns there this morning. Coming up this weekend, Southfield Freeway southbound is scheduled to close between 8 Mile and Michigan Avenue.
GMOs and no nasty chemicals. And AG1 is approved by many professional athletes and trusted health experts such as Tim Ferriss and my guy Michael Jordan. Athletic Greens is also a climate neutral certified company, which is awesome. Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first subscription purchase. All you have to do is go to athleticgreens.com/CBSAM. Once again, athleticgreens.com/CBSAM. I absolutely love this product. athleticgreens.com/CBSAM. And now, straight genius from Genesis Credit Union. Today, Genius Auto Financing.
I'm no car expert, but to finance one, I don't have to be. With auto financing from Genesis Credit Union, Genesis gives me a great low rate on new, used, and refinanced auto loans because they think it's more than just a credit score.
28 locations and 30,000 ATMs. Stop by and check us out at genesiscbu.org.
That's genius.
That's Genesis. Terms and rates vary based on credit qualifications and other factors. Have you ever thought about a career in law enforcement? Stand up for Detroit. Become a Detroit police officer. Pay starts at $42,000. Detroit Police Department now offers full benefits, paid vacation, and tuition reimbursement. Fabulous deputies for the first 5 years of employment. Student police officers are paid while attending training. Training is provided through the Detroit Police Academy. DPE has hundreds of units and positions available. Become a part of the Detroit Police Department. Stand up for Detroit. Visit joindetroit'sfinest.org today. Planet Fitness, home of the judgment-free zone, is the official fitness partner of 97.1 The Ticket. Breaking news on 97.1 The Ticket is brought to you by DuckDuckGo. Protect your privacy online for free. DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified. Text or call The Ticket using the same number. Ticket text 248-539-9797. Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio, here's Stoney and Jensen.
Zero concern with the Jameson Williams news. He will not be ready for training camp for an ACL in January. Does not surprise me. Jim Costa in for John Jansen today. Stoney and Jansen mornings. Not concerned with Jameson Williams. I really don't want to rush this at all. This is the ultimate show of patience. Don't be stupidly aggressive or aggressively stupid. Take your time with the guy. If he has to start the year on the pump, miss the first month, miss the first 6 weeks, miss the first half of the season.
Right.
It's not going to bother me. I want them to do it the right way. I want them to build up this roster and do what's right long term, which is not having a setback for a guy like Jameson Williams, who we think could be a playmaker and a game breaker. But that's what we think. Wojo had a great column in the Detroit News. What's real and what's not for the Lions? 248-539-9797. What's real? Offensive line. What's real? A coach that people want to play for. What's real? Better playmakers around Jared Goff. What's not real? I mean, there's plenty on a 3-13 football team that the hype machine gets going in the offseason.
What we don't know is real is Dan Campbell.
Right. We know that they'll play hard for him, but we don't know in big games what he's going to do when it's, hey, this is the difference between making the playoffs and not making the playoffs.
Am I going to make that controversial 4th down, go for it call?
Well,
am I going to go with my gut again?
We'll give credit to Wojo. He pointed out this is a 3-win coach.
Yeah, here's ticket text, Tim and Clarkston. Real, trading multiple draft picks away to move up in the draft to select a wide receiver with a bum knee when you could have showed up your DL for years to come by drafting a freak of nature in Jordan Davis.
Okay, no, back up. They took 2 defensive linemen in this draft early.
Yes.
They took 2 defensive linemen in last draft early.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with taking that receiver with a bum knee. We are aware that guys tear ACLs and come back all the time in pro football.
Tim must be like my age, because he must think that there's no improvements in medicine back, from when,
He can be right, though, if the Donovan and Mitchell app comes true, Stoney.
True.
Where the hindsight in drafting of Jordan Davis ends up being a dominant interior.
He's a nose tackle. You can't draft you're not going to give up multiple picks to draft a guy who plays part-time 50% of the snaps. Come on. That move would be more SOL than drafting a guy who can actually help your offense. Because as much as we talk about running the ball and being a physical team, safeties are going to come up in the box. If you've got someone who can take the top off the defense, it allows you to play the way you want. Jordan Davis is not a pick that I could have stomached trading up for.
What if he would turn into Fletcher Cox, which is who he's going to be mentoring under in Philadelphia?
Fletcher Cox can get to the quarterback.
I know.
Jordan Davis could not get to the quarterback consistently in Georgia. So it would be a big ask.
Okay.
As Lomas would say. We brought up Jared Goff and the future and where this team's going, what's real and what's not. I feel like Jared Goff is a Band-Aid. I feel like he's a temporary quarterback. So we always keep our eye on the future, the draft.
Mm-hmm.
What if there's another avenue to getting a franchise quarterback in Detroit?
Well, if you can't draft for one, you got to trade for one.
The mystery of Lamar Jackson. Does this interest you? Something's up there. He might sign a long-term deal and they go on to have a very happy future together, but he's not at OTAs. They don't have a deal done. If he plays out this year on the 5th-year option on his rookie contract, they're not going to let him go for nothing.
They could franchise
But
him.
they could tag him and then seek a trade.
Or they could tag him and play him.
But would you not want to get in the fray on Lamar Jackson knowing you don't have a franchise guy in Detroit?
Obviously, if he plays great like his MVP year, yeah. But I'm not convinced he's ever going to be that player again. I think he's going to be a really good player. Is he better than Jared Goff? Yes. But do you want to give up a lot of draft capital and have to pay a guy that much money? I don't know if, look, the salaries keep going up and up and up.
And the next guy resets the market.
You're talking Deshaun Watson money for Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, 5 years. What's wrong with giving a guy who's 25 years old a 5-year deal?
Yeah, I know.
Prime of his career, MVP winner. He's led the league in touchdown passes. You want to be this run-heavy football team? How about getting the most dynamic playmaker at quarterback in the league? You would second-guess this?
It wouldn't be a bad thing. It wouldn't be a bad thing. I need one more season of more evidence.
Well, I agree. You make that trade when you feel like you're ready to win, and the Lions have to prove that they've done the work to build up the O-line, the D-line, the playmakers on both sides of the ball. Once you feel like you got a nucleus and a core, then you take a swing. So I would monitor this Lamar stuff. I think he plays in Baltimore this season, but beyond that, I don't know.
I agree. I think you look at it, but would you have to give up 3 number 1? Would you give up?
Well, you got 2 in this upcoming draft, and then a future pick. Would you, if they win 7-8 games this year, would you not give up
one of the 2 or both of them away?
All of them. Go all in. That's the Lions show cause. They show that they're a good football team, ready to take a lead.
So you're only screwing your capital really for 2 years.
Right.
Yeah, I would think about it.
Again, this is one of those, it's not happening today.
No.
It would have to happen in a year, and the Lions would have to do their part, which is a big if.
And he'd have to want to come here, too.
Well,
let's say, if Dan Campbell is the player's coach, he'll talk to a lot of folks, and the players would love him, and then he'd come here.
And Stoney, you have to think about it. You're thinking about it, another year of evidence. If he plays well, the Ravens are going to want to resign him and give him that deal as well.
Well, right, and they're going to and if not, they'll franchise him.
If he doesn't sign long-term there, it's a disgruntled quarterback. We see what happens in this league the last 3 years. Brady, Stafford, and then this last year, Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson. I think quarterback movement's a real thing, and I believe the draft is a viable option for the Lions, but I think they need to be considering disgruntled quarterbacks who are this caliber.
So you're saying that, Jim, because at least 2 of the 3, after they left that team,
yes, Stoney,
won a Super Bowl.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So Lamar Jackson could follow Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, and win a Super Bowl with his next team. And if Russell Wilson does that for Denver, that would be 3 in a row.
Reason to go for it.
This comes down to, this is the all-in move. This is where you give up part of the future with the picks to go get the elite quarterback. And I do think, hey, he's a former MVP. I think he's a dynamic superstar in this league.
There are issues with him, though, and I'm not talking about off the field issues. The on the field issues are because of he runs. The propensity for him to get injured is very high. The likelihood of him to get injured is higher than other quarterbacks.
Putting behind a strength in an offensive line.
Yeah, but he's
a solid tight end.
The code is 1655.
I want him to run. I mean, that's part of what makes him great.
I know.
The code is 1655.
Committing, because you're going to give him, a 5-year deal. And Pro Football Talk this morning pointed out the fact that he maybe not signing because he wants Deshaun Watson's deal. Right. The trump card he has over Watson is that he's got an MVP.
And he didn't have 66 massages by 17 women.
Right, he didn't have happy endings.
Yeah.
You know, the lawyer talks about his happy ending.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big difference there. So, I don't know.
I think it's worth investigating.
Yes, okay, and that's the thing, is you have to consider all avenues to find your franchise quarterback. Monitor Lamar Jackson. This is a weird thing, as Florio says. The mystery around Lamar Jackson continues. 248-539-9797. If you want to participate in the Lamar Jackson conversation, let's have at it. Tonight is Game 4 of the NBA Finals, and a lot has been made about the environment that the game will be played in. We'll talk about that next. It's 97.1.
WXYT FM and WXYT HD1 Detroit. An Odyssey station. Sports headlines. All day, every day. From the Sold by Mike Z Sports Desk. This is 97.1. The Ticket.
And brought to you by National Benefit Plans. Meanwhile, Lloyd Carr, who led the Wolverines to a national title in 1997, will not have his grandson attend the University of Michigan.